Welcome to 100% Chelsea, and this is your Carabao Cup match build-up show. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea, and welcome to your match build-up show for Chelsea versus Manchester City in the Carabao Cup final. Yes, we've reached another cup final. It's decent. I'm joined by the lads, the usuals. I'm joined by Dominic. Oh, yeah, what time is it? Yeah, it's the afternoon. We shut the blinds, but the only reason we've done that is because of light. We're not crackheads.
Yeah.
However, I can't speak for Scott. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Thank you.
Sorry. I didn't actually mean to do it. It just kind of fell too perfectly.
Off the cuff.
It was off the cuff. It was. But look, let's get straight into it. We played Man City 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Absolutely demolished.
Spanked.
You know, this was full on BDSM, domination, leather chaps, full on just...
Whatever you're into, mate.
Absolutely.
That's
hey, mate,
what they want to get
I'm
judged.
speaking about what you were talking about. Well, this is your thing, innit? But I mean, look, let's be honest, we don't really rate our chances. just we just end it here. Just leave it. I'm not feeling too good about it. What about you guys?
I'm not either, to be honest. A part of me wants to be positive and say we can nick it on penalties, but that is dependent on one thing and one thing only. But apart from that, I can't see any other way of going. Particularly with no Kepa, no Pedro. Actually, to be honest, that might be a blessing in disguise. I mean, Hudson-Odoi is likely to be on the bench.
Brilliant, he's not going to start though, is he? Willian's going to be playing.
No, but it means he might play. It's better than not being on the bench. But yeah, I just don't want it to be another 6-0.
I think we're going to win.
Oh, shut up!
No, I don't. I don't give us until 25 minutes. No, look, come on. We've got to be positive. It's difficult to even have a glimpse. Look, Chelsea, yeah, we're not performing on all barrels, but it's against City, and that's what we've got to remember. They are, in my opinion, they're the best in Europe.
Yep, I agree.
And that, in some people's views, would mean that they're the best in the world. They have the depth of a side which is absolutely disgusting. They have a side that, I described this to my brother, very similar to the French national side. If the first team coach on the way to the stadium got lost and the second team coach had to take over, you'd still back the second team to do win all the games as much as you would the first team. That's how much depth they've got.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely mental.
You just can't compete with it.
No, you can't. It's an absolute... it's a demon of a team. It's just very... There are no words to describe it. I'm literally just sitting there trying to think, saying they're amazing. It's an understatement. But I mean, look, we'll catch this bit if we can, please.
Yep.
So it's kind of a case of, look, our chances against City, let's be brutally honest, they are slim. However, if you look at Chelsea over the past 15 years, you're saying we have a shit record in the past decade in terms of trophies, which is bollocks, with 3 FA Cups and 1 League Cup, and three Premier Leagues?
In the last 10 years.
I didn't say trophies, I said cups.
2 Premier Leagues.
No, 3.
3 Premier Leagues, 1 Champions League, yeah.
And 1 Champions League. It's another tournament. But so our record is good. But I mean,
we lost in the Super Cup final.
Gutting though.
Falcao absolutely destroyed us. But and Lukaku missed a penalty against Bayern Munich.
He did.
And then was sold a few days later, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we scored in the last. They scored in the last second, didn't they?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, this City team's depth is ridiculous. The capabilities that it has is ridiculous. The mentality it's created, despite winning a Premier League last season. If you look at other teams in the past, in terms of retaining trophies, their mentality is ridiculously good. They're going to go into this wanting to make it 2 out of 3. What do Chelsea have to do as a team to stop Manchester City?
There is only one thing: play the same way we did at home. The only thing is we played that way because we had no forward. We'd have to go back to that system, which we won't do because Higuain's here, and have to play that way the same way we did. But I don't think we will, because that was a one-off necessity due to a lack of players at the time. the lack of certain players at the time.
I think the one thing that you need to do is to stifle their attack. Easier said than done. And we all hated the 1-0 loss against City last season when Conte was in charge. However, he managed on the best part of it to stifle their attack and kept it to 1 goal.
Exactly. Well, this is his words were, you're not going to leave yourself open to a team like Manchester City, otherwise it will be 3 or 4 goals. Next season, 6 goals.
Yeah.
Under Richard, sorry. Is there going to be a absolute... Is he going to change? That's all I want to know. Is he going to change?
I'd like to say so. If I was in his position, I'd like to think you change, but it's the same conversation we've had many times during the season. We had it coming up against, I think it was City the first time, and it was down to a bit of luck, but then, as I said, a little bit of change of system that we did. But
well, that was off the back of hiding against Wolves only a couple of days before, so...
But yeah, we've seen it other times this season where he's had to change either through needing to rotate a little bit or needing to change the system in game, and he hasn't done it, and it stayed the same. So,
thanks, Scott.
Welcome,
you're making us feel much better in this cup final.
Let's go.
Should we just leave it?
We'll get beat 3-0. See you next week. Bye.
Oh, then we'll probably get battered there as well. I don't even want to think about Tottenham. Got to deal with We Are Tottenham TV boys in like a few days' time.
And expressions.
And George. Jesus Christ, kill me now. But look, we're saying we have to stifle them. We have to play a similar system.
Yeah.
I want to address, in terms of how we were playing, that game against Malmo. Now, we had a big debate on the way home, didn't we? In terms of the shape we were playing. I thought we were playing Kante next to Kovacic, maybe in preparation for this game. Other people were saying we were still playing the same system. Other people were saying there was no shape in midfield because Jorginho wasn't playing. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. The shape I saw was a 4-2-3-1, which is what I've been crying out for personally for the past 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, 11. But it's kind of a case of, do you think he's going to play that system, or what do you think he was playing in that Malmo game?
I think he was I think he was trying to play a little bit more fluidity, and I think that only is off the basis that Jorginho wasn't starting, so he didn't have that rigidity to keep everybody intact. I think Kante was a lot more, I don't want to say fluid, but he had the ability to turn up in spots that he just didn't have the free rein to do in the past. I can't see him trying to implement a more fluid central 3 simply because it's Maurizio Sarri. He doesn't like to change.
And at City, you don't want to have a fluid 3 in midfield against Manchester City.
It's fine, you can have a little bit of a tryout against Malmo, but against City, if you make a mistake, they're going to score in 2 minutes.
You saw the spaces Malmo were getting in that midfield, and that's Malmo. No offence to them, but their midfielders are nowhere near the level of City's. Imagine De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva or Fernandinho picking the ball up in those spaces. We can actually. It happened last time.
We saw it. I think it's just a case of we have to really be careful in terms of how we manage this game. I think we have to really have the right mindset about ourselves, and I think a lot of it does come down to mindset. That City game, another prime example. We lose 1-0 to Leicester in the next game because of our how would you say?
Lack of penetration.
Alright, Scott. Okay, calm down, mate.
I've not had a problem with that.
Oh God, I didn't need to know that.
Oh, I can taste that.
Warm and salty.
My mum watches this.
But I'm not well. That was bad. I've forgotten what I was fucking saying.
Okay.
I know. We need to lack of mentality. The word's not je ne sais quoi, but it's like what is it when the rabbit, the hare and the tortoise story? He got not cocky, but it was.
Just got ahead of themselves.
Yeah, pretty much. It felt like we got ahead of ourselves, and it cost us because Leicester literally just went through the midfield 1-2-3 passes. James Vardy was through. A man who has an amazing record against the top six.
Yeah.
And they won 1-0.
But that's been Chelsea's story all season. We do that City game and then we get beat the next week. Early in the season we have that amazing night at Anfield where Eden Hazard just takes them apart. 2 days later we come back to the London Stadium and draw 0-0 with no attacking potency at all.
That game as well.
And we probably should have lost that game. It's the story of Chelsea's side because we can beat the top six. We've seen it with Spurs in the second half of the season when we beat them on penalties. We beat them on the night and we beat them on penalties. But then we go the next week and we lose. The Bournemouth result comes 3 days later. It's so typical of this Chelsea side, and actually it hurts because nobody likes to lose against a top six side, but nobody likes to lose even more against a side who aren't doing so well in the league.
No, exactly, and this is it. I mean, it's kind of a case we really have to keep our heads screwed on in this game.
Because otherwise it could be a hiding.
Who's going to be the player in that dressing room now that is going to do that? Who's going to be the person who's going to, pick them up and dust them down and say, right, we need to go against this City team?
I think you've obviously got David Luiz, and shall I tell you what, Rudiger.
Yeah.
On Thursday night, obviously we had the incident where Rudiger came over to us as the fans and said sorry, fine. Rudiger on Thursday night, Hudson-Odoi gave it away just outside our penalty box. Well, I was sat next to you for the game, and the Malmo striker had a shot. It went wide, but Rudiger, it doesn't matter if it was Callum Hudson-Odoi, the starlet, the upcoming star who you don't want to piss off. Rudiger turned around and said to him and said, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because you actually need that. You need that expectation where if you make a mistake, you are going to be criticised by your teammates. And that's the whole thing about this Chelsea side. It's all just too nice. And actually, I was really proud of Rudiger to actually get into the players. Not in a nasty way, but in a way that actually means, what if you're making that mistake, piss off, because you can't give the ball away. If you give that ball away against Malmo, fine, they're going to make a speculative effort. Give it against City. We saw this against City. Aguero's going to put it in the top right bins.
Aguero's got a very good record against us.
And what is Aguero's record?
15 goals in 18 games.
Oh wow.
In all competitions.
Oh wow.
Feels like Drogba against Arsenal.
Oh god. Oh, we have become Arsenal though, gents, let's be honest.
No, don't say that.
It's true!
Come on. No, come on.
It's true!
We've become the Arsenal
guys,
the last
come on.
3 years before this year.
No, come on. Last season we won the FA Cup. The year before we won the Premier League. The only other team.
So last season we were Arsenal.
Arsenal won the FA Cup against us in the final a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But they haven't won the Premier League, and their FA Cup it's a once in a blue moon occurrence. Chelsea are winning cups every 2-3 years.
I'm sorry, but let's be honest. That Premier League was down to magnificent coaching from a manager who knows what it takes to win things.
Yeah,
This is
but
this is where I now sit here and I question the mentality of the team. And to be honest, the manager who should be sitting there, and people say that's a very Yudar attitude. Yeah, it is a very Yudar attitude. And to be honest, I listen to my dad because he makes a lot of sense. So it's kind of a case you sit there and you go, this guy's saying he can't motivate the players. Yes, Antonio Conte went through the same thing. Yes, Mourinho went through the same thing. So there is an issue there. But
massive. In
the first seasons, or the first 2 seasons under Mourinho, the first season under Conte, they got the players to work hard. They got them motivated. And you sit here and Sarri's there talking about fluidity and we need to be better in the final third. We need to do this with the philosophy. We need to do this. We need to do that. Look, the football can be great. That's fantastic. But I'm not a man who cares if the football is good and we're losing games.
But you've got to remember, in that Mourinho first season when Slippy G happened, we came third. The only reason we came third, we didn't play great football. We beat all the top 6, but we lost to teams like West Ham, to Sunderland.
Yeah.
It was diabolical at times. And the only reason we came third is because there was nobody else to challenge for that third position. We shouldn't have come third that season. The only reason we came third is because there was nobody else to come and beat us. I genuinely believe there is no difference. We're not playing totally indifferent football from what we were 4 years ago. It's just there is more competition now. You've got United coming up. You've got Arsenal coming up. Spurs are very much in the mix. City and Liverpool are running away with it. So it's not
to an extent.
And Wolves are coming up. So come on. In that 2014-15 season, we lost against so many smaller teams, like we've done this year.
No, but it's football basics as well. I understand the smaller teams thing, that is a big thing, yeah, but we addressed it and we moved on in the next window. Costa and Fabregas came in and won the league.
Yeah.
But the other reason we were finished third, as well as you're saying that there was no one else challenging around us. Look, against the top 6 at the time, you had City. We beat them when they were on that unbeaten run. We were the first team to beat them. Branislav Ivanovic bangs in that whatever it was from the edge of the box. Yeah. Amazing goal. Arsenal we beat 6-0. The same goes for Liverpool. We obviously beat home and away.
Yeah.
It's kind of a case of we were beating the teams in and around us, and that's a big thing. The reason we are not performing this season is we're not beating the teams around us away from home,
and then we're losing to the teams.
Yeah, and then so this is in terms of saying in different football, the football we were getting there got results. And yes. I've said this since day one, and I have always said this, and anybody who's watched this channel for the past 4 years will know I've always said this. I've always said the game is about getting results. Ironically, Scott made a very good point in a very much more dumbed down version in his fan cam a couple of days ago. You just keep the ball in the net and get the goal, and that's how it happens. Unfortunately, that is football, and I understand people that are very cautious in terms of saying sorry and all this stuff he's capable of, and the football can be great and we can take it to the next level. We can take it to the next level, but this brings us back to the point of, is the ball going to do it? We've now got a 2-year transfer ban. We're now going to have to completely change our policy. It is a blessing in disguise, but we'll touch on that in the next topic. Yeah. So we'll finish that recording there now. What we've got here, timings. Yeah, we're not live on this one, unfortunately, so we have to be very careful in how we do this because we haven't got access to a studio, so this may be slightly different to what we do. But I mean, we'll touch on that now, and we'll talk about Sarri and his mentality.
Don't get me started on this because I can go on for half an hour.
Same.
Yeah, I think we all can, but we've only got 12 minutes of camera left on camera 1, so we need to try and limit it to 10, and then we can do the old switcheroo at half time. But
look,
we've already mentioned it, haven't we? We've already said, look, we can take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Are we going to?
I don't believe so. Everyone's talking. You touched on the transfer ban. Touched on a little bit. Everyone's talking about we can use youth. Nothing about this season so far has made it that clear to me, and nothing about any previous years Sarri's had in Napoli has made it clear to me that he's going to do that while here at Chelsea. Mm-hmm. Hudson-Odoi, up until the Malmo game, 16 minutes of football this year.
2019, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. 2019. Ethan Ampadu, I believe that Malmo game was his second game of the season.
Yes. Sheffield Wednesday and a couple of others in other cups.
Oh, okay. But he only got a few minutes at right back. Loftus-Cheek at times. I know he's been injured, but there's been times when he could have played, hasn't played. Even if you go back and look at Napoli, there was complaints from Napoli fans I've seen online that he wasn't playing Zielinski enough, who he brought from Empoli from Udinese to Napoli. He was 20.
And used him at Empoli while he was on loan.
Didn't play him, would prefer the 3 he had in midfield. There's nothing to give me hope that he's going to use the youth we've got in the next season, which we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is the point I keep trying to make. Look, the philosophy of football, the brand, it looks amazing when it's done.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. However, he came second when he had a 9-point lead on one of the best teams in the world. 9 points going into the last 6, 7, 8, 9 games. Oh man,
we mock Liverpool for the same thing.
Yeah, and we're sitting there saying, 91 points is amazing. Yet they came second. Any other season they wouldn't have come second. Any other season,
no.
But that doesn't matter because that season they did.
Yeah.
That's the fact. If I'm running a business, I'm not going to sit here and let's not paint it any other way. Chelsea's run as a business, right? Let's not sit here and say it's run as a football club by football people, blah blah blah.
Yes.
Look, I look at it as a football fan, and I look at it as someone who runs a business, and we run a business here. However little money it makes, we still run a business. That is the nature of the beast, and I've said it. Get your bingo cards out. It's fine, but it's a case of they're going to look at it and go, okay, well this is what he's capable of. Maybe with these players he can take it to the next level. When he went in for his interview, he said he could take it to the next level with these players. Marcos Alonso, best left back in Europe, Hazard, best winger in the world, blah blah blah. At the time, Hazard, you could argue was on form the best player in the world at that point. Marcos Alonso
Don't even
never
been
been
top 10.
No. Never ever been top level. and it's the niceties that he operates with these players that seems to just he rewards mediocrity.
Yes.
That's the only way that I put it.
But then if he hasn't got any other options,
Well, he's got Emerson. Emerson's the lesser of two evils, yes, but Emerson should be the one that's playing these games. Even if we were getting overrun in this cup final, but he played Emerson, he played Loftus-Cheek, he played Hudson-Odoi, I'd sit there and hold my hands up and I'd go, you know what, we tried it, it didn't work. But we tried something different. I'm going into this game expecting very little. But
you've also got to remember, and I think a lot of people have forgotten about this, first game of the season, Carabao Cup final on the 5th of August last year, Hudson-Odoi starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was okay. Did he blow the smoke up the water? No, not really. I'm just worried that that's going to happen again, and it's going to, lots of these negatives are going to have a detrimental effect on Hudson-Odoi. I'd love to start him, but I think Sarri, after watching him play in the Community Shield final, fine, yes, it's only the Community Shield and this is the Carabao Cup final, but I just feel that that's why Sarri's trying to hold him off. But it goes back to Sarri's point on the 3rd of January. He said that Hudson-Odoi is ready, and if he's ready, in my opinion, he needs to be playing, because otherwise, me as a Chelsea fan, me as another man to come Hudson-Odoi, you need to go where you're going to get football on a regular basis. You're 20 years old, you come on, you're playing against Malmo and winning us the game. Every game he plays a large part in this season, in 2019, he's had our man of the match against Sheffield Wednesday, against Forest and against Malmo, where he played the majority of the game.
He's PO as well.
Yeah, and so actually I think that he needs to be given a proper chance, and if it turns out, fine, he gets a run of 3 or 4 games and he's not really having the impact that we want, fine, we'll shut up.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think he needs to be given the opportunity, otherwise he'll be gone.
I think that you talked about being a business, Chelsea. I think in a business sense, if he's not playing, it makes sense for us to sell him. Because, what was it, 40 million, I want to say?
40, yeah.
Something like that. That's an astronomical fee for a 18, 19-year-old.
Yeah, but if you can develop him into a
But
world class
at the time, I'm saying.
Yeah, but for a business point of view, you want to be having your stock, allowing it to grow and to develop. You might be able to sell it here to start off with, but you'll be able to sell it up here in 5 years' time.
The problem is, though, is he's got, at the end of the season, have 12 months left on his contract.
Yeah.
There is no indication he's going to sign. He doesn't want to sign. He's not getting any more minutes than he was when he wasn't going to sign. Come the summer, all of a sudden Bayern Munich go, no, we'll wait 6 months. Then we'll sign him on a free and just pay you a few million compensation.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we've gone from 40 million to probably 5 at a push. And then we've lost our probably second or third best player.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that says it all. But this is it. Unfortunately, there's no doubt at Chelsea right now there is a massive split amongst the fan base. I'm only saying what I'm saying about Sarri because I care about my club more than a bloke who's been in 6 months and with a philosophy. And like I always say, don't put square pegs in round holes. There's no point in grow up, you, alright? It's kind of a case of we've just got to be very, very careful with what we wish for here. We have to be. Because, look, history dictates obviously how Chelsea operate. There's obviously talk of Steve Holland potentially coming in on an interim basis. But to have that level of uncertainty in an appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport as well,
Yeah.
when we might not even get the next transfer window.
I was looking over it. This is, for those of you who don't know, I'm a law student, so this is what I love.
Saw the grin on his face when he said that.
CAS and their Court of Arbitration for Sport and their appeals process is long, and it's going to take a hell of a long time.
Well, let's have this for a whole other section.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch over the cameras, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you in 2 minutes. So, hello once again, welcome back. Good evening. There is a bit of a jump cut there, but that's because we've had to switch the cameras because that one only goes for half an hour. A little bastard. But other than that, look, Dominic, you were just about to talk about CAS and the Court of Arbitration for Sport. As a law student, we saw you sit up straight, we saw the grin come on your face, we saw your ego flash across that grin, which is always good. It's not arrogance, it's not ego. There's nothing wrong with ego. It's confidence. I like it. I know, good. That's the point I was trying to make. But look, go on, talk to us. How is this going to operate, and how could this affect Chelsea over the next 6 to 12 months?
basically was stuffed. I was having only a very brief look at it. I think there were about 6 of the... we're appealing on about 6 different grounds, all of which have to have their own judgment. The appeals process, and if we wish for it to be upheld, is going to take a considerable number of months. First of all, for the appeal to be accepted, and then for the we have to go through a disciplinary committee. What are we now? February, March, April, May, June. There's a chance it could be in place before the summer. Highly doubtful. What were Chelsea thinking? Because it's not...
Let's be like Man City, because they get around it and we've got money as well!
It's not even that. If you look at previous cases in recent time, the 2 that come to mind are Barcelona and Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Did it happen to Real Madrid as well? I know they've been investigated, but I wasn't sure if they've been banned.
They didn't get banned, they appealed it and they got through because they're Real Madrid.
Okay. But we look at Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. Someone made the point that I saw. Barcelona knew this was coming. They knew that this was going to likely happen. What do? Went out straight away, bought Rakitic and someone else high profile, I forget who, I do apologise.
So they bought Rakitic, Alex Vidal,
no, that was after the ban. I'm saying
after the ban?
Once they knew the ban was coming, before it happened...
It was for Halilovic, wasn't it, that ban?
Yes, he was the main, so Chororo was our main one, Halilovic was their main one, but there was a few others.
Yeah.
So yeah, they went out and bought a couple of high-profile players that they knew were going to improve the system, so they didn't have to worry too much once the ban came in. Atletico Madrid, they managed to appeal it. As soon as that happened, went out and bought a load of players, and then I think it was last year the ban, because Griezmann was going to leave, bought the players they needed, then were fine during the ban. Chelsea have not bothered in the last 2 windows, for the most part. Yes, in the summer we did, but if you look at the majority of those deals, 1 was a necessity, 2 were a necessity, and the 3rd came as part of another deal. Our business has been shocking, and we've known this is coming for the best part of a year.
You're not wrong about the business being wrong, and the points you've raised about Rakitic and obviously Atletico Madrid as well. This is why I don't have the confidence that Chelsea do. I understand what people are saying about youth, and saying you can use youth players, you can do this, you can do that. Look, there's only one team that's ever pulled off, well, maybe 2 at push, pulled off using their youth and being, well, 3 actually, being absolutely amazing and completely working, but it won't work in modern age. That is Ajax, and they won the Champions League.
Fair.
Man United plus 92.
Yep.
Barcelona and Pep.
There is one other I can think of in recent time that people always point to, but my argument is always the same.
Go on, what was it?
Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco. Look
And
what they're
I was about to say, look what they're at using youth.
Yeah.
About to get relegated.
I mean, but this is it. I mean, it's kind of a case you need to have the right blend. Liverpool, City, they both have the right blend. You need to have those high-profile players, and you need to have the players that understand the club to get the soul and the mix completely intertwined. And that's how successful football clubs have worked for generations. I'm talking, we're going back to the Busby Babes, we're going all the way back there. And then they're amazing as well, because but they also had the right mix of a couple of other players as well that were older and had the oorah, I guess is kind of how people would put it in terms of... Yeah, that's it. If you we'll shop at Waitrose and have caviar, we can say it that way. But it's kind of a case of, I think that...
You don't get good caviar at Waitrose.
See, only you would know that, Dom.
That's not true, it's just common knowledge.
Is it?
Okay, if you say so. But yeah, I think it's kind of a case that we really have to look at it. Is this club run the right way? And this transfer ban, for me, this is the perfect time for a restructure. But the club needs to come out and have a bit of transparency and say, look, we are going to do this. We're going to do something. We're going to change it up completely. If Roman is going to sell, this would be the point for me to sell. If I was in a position, I'd say, look, I can't do this anymore. I'm overseas. I'd find the right buyer. I'd make it public if the club was on sale or not. Obviously, Marina, for me, a fantastic businesswoman. There's no doubt about it. From what we understand, she's a very nice lady as well. But, it's kind of a case of we have to realise that I think in terms of a footballing sense, the way the club is run probably isn't the wisest. And I think it's a case of, for example, the players being bought by the board and then going to the manager, okay, off you go, have fun with this squad.
No, to the coach
Oh, to the coach, sorry, yeah. The coach, not the manager.
Yeah.
And they go, have fun! And he's there going, yeah, but I can't use him, you want me to implement the system, he's crap. Yeah, but don't worry about it, it's fine, we've got this covered. Yeah, but I want to use him. Yeah, but you're not allowed to use him because he isn't the market opportunity. We're going to give you him as though for the market opportunity. Yeah, but I don't want him, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't care, have fun. Finish 6th. Oh, you've gone down in our estimations, you didn't reach target, see you later, bye. Next manager comes in, same shit happens.
Process.
And it's kind of a case of they're sitting there going, okay, well, we're not in the wrong here, it's fine, let's just twiddle our thumbs. Get some youth players in, we can develop them, help with the loan army, yeah. Papi de la Bodji, Michael Hector, these players get us money back, which they did, which is why they were bought.
Actually, only one has so far.
Well, Michael Hector's got us back with cash on loan fees.
Okay.
So it's kind of a case of you sat there and it's going, this is brilliant. Right. Oh, we've got a transfer ban. Shit, we didn't really think about this. Oh, we probably should have spent a bit more money. Oh, gosh darn it. Oh well. You're going to sit there, and I'm sitting there looking at this and going, do you know what? You look at City when they were put in that situation. You look at Atletico. You look at Barcelona. You look at Real Madrid. Every single one of them went, right, busy summer, let's go. I don't think our board will do that. I don't trust them.
I don't even think it's that. I think, because I've seen a lot of people on Twitter say, oh, we need to go busy summer, we need to do this and that. If we want to get rid of the deadwood, which we do, and say that we get the appeal and we get the summer, for us to spend the money that we need to have that backup in place, so for the next 2 windows we're okay, and for them to be getting rid of the deadwood, we're going to have to spend astronomical money.
Chelsea won't do that.
It's not even that though. It's the case of we're already going to get a ban that then puts us in possibility of being looked at for something else, and because we're not a City or a PSG or whatever, we will get banned again.
Well, we're well within financial fair play, but Chelsea just don't have the funds. Yes, before anyone says, yes, Chelsea have money, but then you're going up against the likes of City, PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, where Chelsea are big, but they are just enormous.
We're not going to go
and you can't go up against them. And Chelsea in the summer, we've already brought in Christian Pulisic for what, 50-60 million pounds? 58 million pounds. Chelsea just don't have the means, particularly if we're going for this new stadium, particularly if we're trying to do a massive overhaul of our staff. We don't know. Maurizio Sarri's got clouds over his future. Roman Abramovich has got clouds over his continued allegiance to Chelsea. And I just really cannot see us putting in the funds because the funds don't exist. They really don't.
God, that's depressing. But this is the issue, and for people saying we'll just ship out all the deadwood. When you go on Twitter, oh right, all these players are going to go out, and this is who we're all going to bring in. Fekir, this guy. It's like, yeah, but you're not going to ship out all those players, and you're not going to bring all these players in unless you have a Monchi at Roma or whoever's at Sevilla or whoever. All these amazing directors of football.
Monchi's underrated as a sporting director.
Arsenal have approached Monchi to be their new sporting director. Is that right?
The stuff he's done at Roma and Sevilla is incredible.
That's why we need a director of football.
Who do you want?
Ballack.
Yeah.
Chelsea's odd number 13.
Actually, to be fair,
I miss it.
The fact that Ballack sat there as a Bayern Munich legend as well as a great player at Chelsea when Hudson Bush stayed at Chelsea. You're sat there going, Bayern fans are going, what? Like, one of my mates, you remember if you remember the old school stuff, you remember BFG, he texts me like, Hudson Odoi, what's going on there? Like, I want him. And it's kind of a case of we're all sat there, I'm then sat there going, well, Ballack's he shouldn't have it. The fact that Ballack's back in Chelsea, and obviously as a man who has met Michael Ballack, absolute hero, just saying. But, it's just a case of we really, really need to have someone who understands the club, who knows how to motivate everything, who knows that we are going to work our bollocks off in this window, and someone who could go work with someone and say, right, what do you need? And then say, right, this is our budget, sit down, let's figure this out, let's push forward.
I think it's a ready-made option at the end of the season. Well, there's already talk of him coming in some capacity in the club.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big Pete's got to come in. For me, he's got to come in. Unless he's going to go into management, fine. But if he's not, he needs to come in.
Well, Hilario's got current coach.
Yes.
I don't think he's immovable. Hilario is part of that squad now. Czech should come in an ambassadorial or an even higher role.
Yeah.
Higher brow.
He's been here. He was here for
a decade.
Yeah. He's worked with Terry, Lampard, Cole, Drogba, Full. many years.
Well, he was one of those. He was one of those core
Yeah,
five,
but
wasn't he?
so he knows how they work. He knows their mentality. He knows what it takes to win stuff at the very highest level, and he can hopefully. He should be able to instill that in.
Well, he's won everything.
Yeah.
Unlike many other clubs' legends, Gerrard, for example,
Legend.
Pericek's actually won trophies.
I mean, if you literally, if it's also to do an all-star 11 at Chelsea, you'd have the core 5.
100%.
Drogba, Lampard, Terry, Cole, Petr. That's your 5. And I think, to be honest, all of them are going to be coming into Chelsea at some point or another in the next decade.
Well, John Terry said in his leaving speech he'll be coming back at one point.
Yeah.
So Lampard. As well.
Lampard will
I think
come
Drogba's
back.
the only one who probably won't, but that's because I don't see him
Well,
going
because
into.
of Phoenix Rising. He owns Phoenix Rising, doesn't he? So
Yeah. I don't think he's.
have
He doesn't strike me as the type of person to take up a business suit-esque job, unless it's
despite owning the club.
apart from being an owner. I mean,
Honestly, yeah. I mean, Phoenix Rising. I think that pretty much just says, we have to see what happens with that. But listen, we'll end that one there. Now it's time for your predicted 11 for the Carabao Cup final, and I think we're all pretty set on what we think it's going to be. Other than Kepa being out, apparently there could be. So it doesn't say if he is going to be. We could be out Kepa. Without Kepa, who's obviously got a hamstring injury. In terms of the statistics here, I'll just read out the BBC match stats. Chelsea set to face City, each other in the League Cup final for the first time. Both sides have won the trophy 5 times, with only Liverpool winning it more. Again, historical factors. This is the first ever meeting between Chelsea and Manchester City since the third round in 1993-94, when Brian Horton, the City side, won 1-0 at Main Road with a goal from David White. Excluding Community Shield matches, Chelsea and Manchester City have only met in the final of the competition on one previous occasion. That 1985-86 full Members' Cup final at Wembley. A 5-4 victory for Chelsea, which remains the highest scoring final in Wembley history. Manchester City 2018 winners of the League Cup against Arsenal are looking to become only the 4th team to retain the trophy after Manchester United, Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. And Chelsea have already lost 3 times at Wembley this season, losing in the Community Shield against Man City, in the Premier League and the League Cup semi-finals against Spurs. And I've just lost the stats, so we'll, for some reason my phone decided to play up, so I'll just leave it at that.
Please don't remind me of those other games at Wembley.
Unfortunately, I have to, my friend. So, gentlemen, how are we feeling? What's your lineup? What's your predictions? Talk to Daddy. Or the Godfather of Chelsea football. YouTube.
I think it's pretty quite predictable.
Yeah.
What's going to go, particularly with certain injuries.
The big Willie, who's everyone's daddy in goal.
Yep. I think David right back. We've got another option. I don't know if
Zappacosta's.
Is he not still out, injured, possibly, or was that just one game?
I think it was one game.
I don't think.
Would you seriously consider starting Zappacosta?
No.
Okay, so we're fine. David right back.
I've made the point for me he's the second worst player at our club.
Yeah, okay. Centre half pairings.
Behind.
Alonso.
Centre half pairings. What are you going for?
I think it's got to be Tony and David Luiz.
Yeah.
Those are only 2 sustainable options, and I think those are the only 2 options that Sarri's got in his mind. I don't see him playing Christensen.
Although he said Christensen is ready and he is challenging for David Luiz.
Yes, but he said the same again about Hudson-Odoi. And Hudson-Odoi before the Malmo game had played some ridiculous 19 minutes. 16 minutes since the beginning of Jan. So
we're going Rudiger and Luiz.
Yep.
Yeah.
Left back Emerson or Alonso.
Emerson played the whole game against Malmo, and we've seen the last few games that haven't been like this month that Alonso's been playing the majority of them in the league, I believe.
Yeah.
Ever since the Bournemouth game.
I would start Emerson.
So would I, but I think we've seen the same pattern over and over.
Yeah.
I can't see him starting.
Who's your midfield 3?
We know 2 of them.
Kante and Jorginho.
Yep.
Yeah.
Certainty.
Kovacic or Barkley? Which one will be substituted at the 60th minute?
I think Barkley will start.
I found out an interesting stat the other day about that quickly.
Go on.
How many times do you think that substitution has happened so far this season?
22.
Yeah, close. 20 times. That's this season.
In the Premier League only?
Just in general.
Oh.
It's the most used substitution in the Premier League this season, isn't it?
Something like that. It was a stat they used on the Europa League game the other night.
Pedro and Willian's like 18, I think, between the two.
That's
But yeah, I think Barkley will play.
he went off after how many minutes? 60 minutes the other day?
75.
Yeah.
After he scored his free kick. So
it'll be him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I think as well, Kovacic out of the 2, I can see him dropping just because he didn't have the best game
Yeah,
in that reduced the role.
100%.
Okay, so that's ours. And then the front three, what are you going for? Hazard on the left, 100%.
Higuain up top.
Higuain up top. Does Hudson-Odoi walk into the team, or...?
He should do, but he won't. So I think he'll be on the bench, but that's about it.
Pedro's fit. I'm guessing, because what I read there is it's just that Pedro's fit now.
I still think he'll go on the bench. I think he'll do what he did against... Who was it? There was a game, it wasn't the last game. I think it was a game before Malmo. I think it was United, he played 2 wingers on the bench.
Okay.
So I think he'll do the same again.
Alright,
Tony Williams starting.
Fun, invigorating, fresh.
And we can guess the subs.
Predicted lineups are so pointless now.
Yeah.
I mean, can you put that down to Richard Sorry though? The fact that we...
Yes. To some aspects. Some aspects.
He hasn't got very many options except from that. Obviously, you've got the Loftus-Cheek.
He should be starting.
He should be starting. Hudson-Odoi should be starting, in my opinion. That's just my humble opinion, and I know that's shared by a lot of Chelsea supporters. I think if you were to include those two, I think we'd be a lot more positive and we'd be a lot more understanding of Sarri, that he hasn't got the squad that he wants, but he's actually trying different options. For me, if I'm trying to do something and it's not working, I change it. And I cannot, and most football managers do, I cannot see how he's going to continue putting out the same 11 week in, week out and getting our asses
Because
handed
they
to us.
understand the philosophy. But I think that's a load of...
The man is a stubborn old goat.
I think there's having a philosophy which is understandable. For me, the thing I look for in the manager is in-game management.
Yeah.
If you have a philosophy, fine. If you have a formation you use, if you have certain players you use, fine. For me, it all comes down to what are you going to do in-game if that's not working. We've seen it from the best in the world wherever you go. Doesn't seem
if it was me, I'm parking up that pad quickly. If it was me, I would definitely consider other options. I think we need to just figure out what the thing would be. I would personally start a 4-2-3-1, and I'd agree. I mean, if it was my predicted lineup personally, I'd go for Caballero. Dave's the only right that we got. Personally, I think he should play at centre half.
Yeah.
But it's going to have to be there. I'd then go. I would start Emerson.
Yep.
Mainly just for some attacking prowess down this side.
Do you think that's
here.
a position that we need to be strengthening on over the summer?
Fullbacks in general are positions which Chelsea need to strengthen.
Even though it's Dave?
Yes.
Dave should be a part of the squad, 100%. People are saying he should be left out, we should sell him, blah, blah, blah. People could be saying, if you look at City, they got rid of Zabaleta, they got rid of all these other players, which didn't add much to the squad because of their age or whatever. Zabaleta's contract was running out, and they didn't renew it.
Yeah.
We're just giving Dave a new 5-year deal.
Yes.
Problem is, Dave, how old is he?
29.
Dave could walk into most Premier League sides.
Exactly.
As a centre, I think you made the point. As a centre half, he could pretty much, with the exception
Mm,
of City, and with the exception of Tottenham.
That's the problem. He's not.
And Liverpool.
Yes, we want to keep him in the squad, but teams will pay decent money for Azpilicueta, and he's a footballer. He wants to be playing football. He loves Chelsea.
I would see him as a utility player, which we could have on the bench to bring on at any point. Sarri's big ones ain't making the same subs. If you had Azpilicueta on the bench, just anyone can play along your back line. That is not a player you sell. That is, I talk about players that do the donkey work and just do run of the mill stuff. You've got your Milners.
Yeah.
You've got your Bernardo Silva, to be fair, world class, but he does a lot of donkey work for City.
Slightly less years on him, but Maitland-Niles for Arsenal.
Maitland-Niles for Arsenal. You've got these players which are utility players which offer a lot. As much as people are saying he's not good at possession, all this crap, if I'm honest. Look, Azpilicueta is good at relaying the ball. If he was at centre half and he had if Jorginho understood the system, because I play the two. If you had him at centre half, maybe, if you had Rudiger next to him to add the height, their distribution is not bad. They are Premier League players. You get the ball to Jorginho, which is what we're doing at the minute. Anyone who says it's not, you're going back on yourself, you're lying to yourself if you think that's not what's going on. You'd have a distribution to a quality a player which can start moves. You have Kante next to him, whose distribution is decent, and as a box-to-box player, he's come out today and said, I like the offensive roles, I like to get involved more. If you give Kante free roam to just do what he needs to do defensively and aid those attacks, which is what he does for France, which is what he did for Leicester, which is what he did for us on occasions in Conte's first season, I think that would work quite well. I think the biggest issue is if you look at fullback, there's a severe lack of pace.
There is. In the Premier League, we're getting caught out week in, week out.
And this is it. And I think Emerson is the lesser of two evils. There's no doubt that Emerson is, as a Conte signing, it wasn't a panic buy. Emerson was considered the second best left back in the Serie A before an ACL injury. Now, ACL injuries take stuff off you. There's no doubt about that.
Zuma,
you've seen it already.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a case of, look, if we do get the transfer window, we need to. That is the main position we need to strengthen, as well as potentially for me another central midfielder and a centre forward. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. But I think for this game in general, Emerson would start to add that pace. If Zabacosta's on the bench, look, if we need to have a bit of pace, he may be the second worst player at the club. If you need an injection of pace on that right hand side, as much as he may not be technically gifted, look, if you've got to do, you've got to do. If you've got to win, look, I understand that attacking players will take priority. The substitution when he brought Zabacosta on against Man United, it was illogical because I think everyone thought Aspilicueta had an injury because he looked like he had a niggling one.
Yeah.
But then he came off and sat on the bench. So, I mean, we don't know what happened. He could have gone into the dressing room and got treatment.
Yes.
Because there was only a few minutes left of the game, so he could have been sitting there saying, I'm just going to wait it out. In terms of the centre halves of this, I think there is no contest. Well, when I say no contest, I mean there's no other options really, apart from Luiz and Rudiger. I want to talk a bit about Rudiger quickly, because he's come under a lot of flack from a lot of fans for seasons. I mean, if you look on Twitter this year and last year, people consider him poor, not the best technically, not the most gifted, not useful as a Chelsea player. Why? Can you see why they do it? Because I don't understand.
For me, it comes back to saying what you talk about Aspilicueta. As a defender, first and foremost, I want them to defend.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a monkeys if they can pass the ball, if they can put a 50-yard pass, if they can skill an attacker on his arse. I want him to defend. And that's the main thing. He is good at defending. He hasn't got the technical ability that Sarri likes, fair enough, but he can defend.
And this is it, I think that's him. And then obviously you've got Luiz next to him as that option, which is like I was saying yesterday, you could get Paolo Maldini or Sideshow Bob. It really depends who turns up tomorrow against Manchester City.
If he turns up, we're not in a bad shape.
No, but that's the if.
Yeah.
Would you renew David Luiz's contract? 1 year left? Or would you come to the end of the season? Would you renew it?
I think he's a character in the team, which I always say week in, week out, we need more characters, we need more souls. So, yes, in terms of a squad player, well, how old is he now?
31, 32.
It's Chelsea's policy, and this won't change. It'll be a 1 year rolling contract.
Okay, so obviously leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you believe that we should be giving David Luiz a longer contract? Obviously, this is a predicted 11 show, but it's good to just dissect it and figure it out more and actually prove to people I know what I'm talking about with football. What next time I think we should do is we should get the camera up here and we can do the tactics board.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Sort that out.
They call me Mike Bassett for a reading, ladies and gents. But yeah, so I mean the options that we currently have, Aspilicueta. Personally, I think we start Emerson. Obviously, this is the line we'd want to see. But just to reinforce the line that we're probably going to see is Willy Caballero, Alonso, Aspilicueta, Luiz and Rudiger. So not much different on the back line so far.
Sure.
Moving into midfield, we're seeing Jorginho, Kante, and we're seeing Ross Barkley. Right. This is where I completely changed the system. Now, for me, because of the options we have, I think Jorginho, as a player to start attacks and move the ball, he goes in. But this is basically short passing. When you speak to Napoli fans, which I've spoken to many of, and they all say the same thing, Jorginho's vision is shocking. He's good. He's not someone who's going to ping a 50-yard pass.
I want to put this out there. People say, I can't see people say that my main criticism of him is lack of assists, lack of creativity. And I hear a lot of people say we've had a lot of criticism on the channel from other people saying that's not his role. What is it then? You talk about this part that got to start attacks, but some of that requires assists. At Napoli, Allen, who I'd not say, I didn't watch a lot of him, but I'd not say his passing ability was incredible, was I think 1 assist behind him across the whole year.
So,
and Ederson has
Alan.
2 season.
I know, but this is right. So this is where I'm going to raise that point and place it carefully. This is where I feel that a 4-2-3-1 is a system that we need to see at Chelsea. Because, like I'm saying, Jorginho's shut up, fine, I don't like you.
Both of us.
Oh, both of us have come to Chelsea. God! Some
So
of you, why do you like us? God! I mean, a lot of people do ask that question, why people like us. It's because we're good at what we do. So, if you look at the options that I've drawn here, so you have Jorginho. Jorginho's passing is short, starting off the moves. That is what he does. He's not a player. They're saying there's a lack of movement. There's this, that. There is. There's no doubt about it. But if your whole system relies on people moving, and you've got a £50 million player who's your captain on the pitch, who understands the system, he should be telling those people to move. Now, but this is where, so if Jorginho's passing short, like that, just for the sake of argument, just do that, little short ones there. You have Kante as a player who is defensively there to help in front of this back line here, but it's someone you're going to be finding here, doing whatever. If you had and if you had a fullback which understood the system, well not understood the system, but always had a bit of pace about him, your players can bomb forward there, so they can move the ball out here. You would have Emerson, for example, on this side. He can move the ball out wide to him. You'd have the movement. You'd have the possession-based football. You'd have fullbacks here and wingers a bit further up here, with the attackers as the focal point. Now, in terms of who sits in front of these two, because we've already spoken about Kante, we've spoken about Jorginho. Kante is already like he wants to be part of those offensive moves. And we saw against Malmo that he's fully capable of coming from a deep line position, moving the ball forward, driving, giving us options. The person in front of them, for me, and it has to be him, it 100% has to be, just for the sake of it, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, as a player, he's not number 10. He's not quite an auxiliary forward either. But he's someone who likes to drift, understand the stuff. We're talking about free roam. Kante's going to be there. I'd say Kante has the main drive of that with the middle of the pitch. Maybe just eking into the final third just a little bit. Basically, he's going to be your box-to-box. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is someone who can go on to the left, carry the ball in. You'd have wingers coming on the inside. You'd have this. You kind of have this. This is obviously the dream scenario, and you know he's got a physical presence, which is a big thing. If you had him in the middle, and we saw against Manchester City previously that he's fully capable of moving the ball, of driving it defensive, of causing them issues because they want to play the ball out from the back. If you have someone who's willing to press alongside wingers and a centre forward, you're going to cause that back four issues or that back line in general. So, in my opinion, it has to be him starting, and I'd start him tomorrow just to do this. Like I said, I'm not expecting us to go out and win this game. This, for me, would be an example for us to test what a full strength 11 would be. If I was Mauricio Sarri, I'd be sitting down going, right, I want to test this system and see how this works. I've been training it for a couple of weeks now. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I think the biggest issue with him is his injuries. That is what is always going to hinder him. I think that back injury is something which can niggle him for his entire career. He's had it for 2-3 years now. Yeah. It's something that's going to be there. But in terms of the winger options, left-hand side for this game, obviously, talisman, Eden Hazard.
Yep.
Because we need him.
He needs to turn up tomorrow.
Again, the issue here is it's free roam. But if you have that, like I'm saying about talking about free roam, and people are saying, why would you have 2-3 players free roaming here? If you look at how Chelsea have played previously, over the past few years, understandably, it's not exactly what people have wanted to sort of say, you know, we want the players to express themselves a bit more, they need to know what's going on. But the front three, or the wingers in general, have been interchangeable on any occasion. You see Hazard and Pedro swap wings, Hazard and Willian, you know, you're bringing people across. The beauty of having Loftus-Cheek as a number 10, just behind, you can have Hazard floating to number 10 position, Loftus-Cheek comes out here. You can have Willian, whoever's on this right-hand side, doing the same thing, just constant interchanges. And I think we're talking about a lack of movement and a lack of footballing mentality.
Yeah.
Eden Hazard's probably got one of the best football brains on the planet.
Agreed.
The way, and people saying he should be scoring more goals when we were talking about the creativity issue in terms of the, you know, he makes space but he doesn't score enough goals. That means he's not world class. To be world class, it really depends on what variables you have involved. Scoring goals is not Eden Hazard's main thing. His main thing is, funnily enough, creating the space for other players to run into. Now, Loftus-Cheek is a player which prides himself on moving and being positive in his movements, moving into those spaces. The same goes for Willian, obviously maybe not so much now, but previously. Pedro likes to gravitate into those spaces as well. Hudson-Odoi, again, maybe not quite yet, but he's not got the footballing brain just yet, but you can tell that there's definitely something in there. And that is someone who needs to start. 100%. I'd be sitting there going, you have two youth players in the setup. You could even argue, even though he may not be as good as David Luiz yet, he's only 22 years old, bearing in mind he's only a year older than the three of us. Christensen is another player, which I think, that's what his number, 27, that's it, 27. Christensen is another player who could easily fill in this role that David Luiz does. He just needs the time, he needs the confidence, and he needs the boost. But Hudson-Odoi is that player you could drive. You've got two players you can drive here. You've got two players that can interchange. One who creates space wherever he wants to go, and then you have a number 9 here, whoever it is next year. But right now, that is Gonzalo Higuain, who makes some very intelligent runs. If you want someone who has those intelligent runs, a run in the box, you have someone who can cross here, you have someone who creates space for other players who like to cross go here, blah, 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 blah. There's options. That's how you play. And you can still move the ball very quickly there. Yes, you want to play with very short passes and manoeuvrability. But if you want that manoeuvrability, you have to change it. You have to work to the strengths. And for me, these are the strengths that we have. Because we create the spaces. The biggest issue is still going to be defensively, because can Kante get up and down? He might have to be a bit more regimented than he wants to do. He's not doing it. Go on.
But one thing that I think I've noticed, and it helps with this, that I've noticed
Should I just show this screen my scoreboard?
No, I'll flash it up.
Flash it up.
One thing I've noticed with our team, and we've seen it a few times with we saw it with Tottenham and a few other teams. Playing like that, if we play against Manchester City, the one thing that I noticed a bit, but I noticed about our team is that Fernandinho gets the ball a lot. Because he's dropping a bit deeper, he gets the ball, it allows him to play out. If we had Loftus-Cheek playing where he is, he could do what Herrera did and Ali did for Jorginho, stay on him, give him a bit of pressure.
And in terms of physicality, there's no one else I'd rather have in terms of that midfield. Kovacic arguably could do it, but he'd have to be very regimented with what he does. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think the other thing with him is, we're talking about these short passes, you cannot play, from my opinion, you can't play Jorginho and Kovacic in the same team, because they do the same thing. That is the person who should be coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Mateo Kovacic is the man who comes off to, if you want to put him into that, you can switch it to sit back to a 4-3-3. And for me, you need to go on the front foot with these type of movements. You need to be direct, you need to be physical, you need to be powerful. And I think it's kind of a case of you can still intertwine the two systems which Chelsea have used in the past. But in terms of Jorginho's role, if I was wanting to see a game out, that's someone who I'd bring off. And then I'd sit there and say, bring in Kovacic, see the game out, keep the physicality there.
On that basis, do you sign Kovacic in the summer? Obviously, he's a loan. We do have the option to buy, which I believe wouldn't be influenced because it wouldn't be impacted from the...
We don't have an option.
It's not an option to buy. It was part of the Courtois deal.
Fine. It wasn't part of the Courtois deal. It was two separate deals.
Oh, fair enough. I thought it was.
So we don't have an option to buy, but Real Madrid's offer is, well, they want 70 million roughly, I believe. So with a 70 million valuation for someone who's going to sit on your bench, no chance. I think for me, there's players that's come in. You've got Mason Mount who can play there. Reece James, someone who's proved his distribution at Wigan potentially. I mean, you've got to look for this transfer ban and figure it out. You know, this guy plays at right back, plays at centre half, he plays at defensive midfield. You know, he's got capabilities and he's proven all those points. You know, Chelsea have options, but this is why I'm saying, obviously, realistically, Hazard's not going to be in the summer. So positions we need to strengthen are left wing, full backs, midfield, and a centre forward.
Yep.
Ironically, that's 5 positions. You're not going to get decent players for 100 million. So that 100 million is going to come in. We're going to have the likes of Pulisic coming in, but
you can probably take Higuain out. I think for a year, he's not a bad option to have.
No.
For a year, no. But I think the options are.
Then it allows us to put more money elsewhere.
Well, I mean, if we do sign a Cardi, which is what's being touted at the moment, you've got a player who's got very intelligent movement again. It's unlikely, but the reason I'm talking about it is because it is heavily touted. Yeah. There is a lot of talk about it. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to sign him because there's a 60% chance we're not going to. But for me, this is how I play the system. It's there's a lot more durability there. And I think with the players that we have, the physicality that can be present, I think that's important. You need to have that. You have the defence for a player who can move the ball out quickly. It's just a case of changing that midfield shape and inverting it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a case of you just have one... Again, Loftus-Cheek is a player that can move the ball and intelligently, but is also fully capable of doing the donkey work. You saw him do it for England at the World Cup, where he just held the ball in the corner, he moved the ball well, he's very intelligent when he's on the ball. Eden Hazard, we will miss him. But we have to look at this as realistically as he probably will leave. But right now, the team I play for the cup final, obviously in longevity reasons, you wouldn't have Willy Caballero, you'd have Kepa. But the team for the cup final for me, if I was to pick it, it would be a 4-2-3-1. It would be Willy Caballero in goal, Emerson at left back, Dave at right back, Luiz and Rudiger as the two in the centre half pairing. I play Kante and Jorginho together just to have that little bit more manoeuvrability in front of the defence, and obviously this is a big game in terms of that. I play Ruben Loftus-Cheek at 10, but he probably wouldn't play as a 10. He plays, I don't even know what you call that position as a name for it, but I've forgotten. I play Hudson-Odoi, take him off, bring on a Pedro, bring on a Willian if Pedro's fit. Personally, I bring on Pedro and play him in behind instead, and then move Ruben Loftus-Cheek out wide. Hazard at the 10, Gonzalo Higuain as your centre forward, and then at the bench, look, there are some players there, but I understand we're independent philosophy, but for me, I want to go out and win games, and I think that is your best options right now. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. But what do you think of that?
Yeah, I completely.
It is a bit scribbly, but
it'll be flashed up on the
makes
screen
sense.
now.
No, but yeah, that's our lineup. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Right, move on to the predictions quickly. We've got 4 minutes left of time on that one, so we need to do it quick. Go on, score predictions.
1-1 draw, win on pens.
Yeah?
It's going to be positive.
My heart's telling me we'll win on pens. My head's telling me we'll probably lose about 3-1. Hoping we can get a goal. Look, all I care about is if we give it a go. That's all I really, really care.
Yeah.
If we come off the pitch and we've given it a go, I'll be happy.
My heart is 1-1 and on pens. My head again is 3-1 to Man City. But I'm only saying that because I think the system that we're going to play is not going to be durable.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the biggest issue. But yeah, listen, that is your match day predictions, your match day build-up show for Chelsea versus Manchester City in the Carabao Cup, a 4 o'clock kickoff. It's 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes, it is. 4 o'clock kickoff.
4 o'clock kickoff at Wembley Stadium. Just make sure you tune in back to Home St Chelsea for the post-game analysis, fan cams, sofa review, player ratings, Twitter reacts, all that good stuff. And obviously make sure you check out Lawrence's review as well. And if you like this concept with the cameras and how it is going to change a little bit more, but I think we found what we're going to be doing. But yeah, guys, listen, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, make sure you follow us on all our socials, all the personals will be down below as well, and we will see you later. Ta-ra.